Okay, so I was saying instead of digital, it should be analog. All right, so analog right. So in this case, analog means you need to you have the ability to increase the amount of electricity gradually, in this case in at different voltages, right? You're allowed to do that, but the command is analog. Digital just means it's either going to be on or off. All right. The second part to it is you got to understand that in order to do that, there's actually a physical component of the amount of electricity to do that, and that is set by the board in this case, which is a pulse width module, right? Your PMWs, which is signified by the insignia sign. So once again, any one of those that have it, so in this case 11, 10, 9, 6, 5, and 3, can support the analog command. All right, so it's going to turn on gradually. Okay, so start from 0, go to 255, increase by 1, analog right, and then let's go ahead and delay each one of those because once again it'll go too fast. Let's slow it down a little bit by, let's say, a tenth of a second. So in this case, let's go ahead and run the code. See what it does. Oh, that's right. So once again, if you read the error, right? Once again, which is very, very helpful. This box down here. So they're saying basically inside my void loop. So inside this loop right here, there's a mistake, and the error happened on line 12. All right, and it's something with the letter I, and it wasn't declared. So if it wasn't declared, right, that means we need to go ahead and declare the variable I. Just like we declared the word red or blue, we need to declare it for the letter I. Now there's two ways of doing it. You could do it here and not set it equal to any pins because right, it's the letter I is not connected to any pins. So we just go ahead and declare it right as an integer, right? It only goes to numbers 0, 1, 2, no decimals. Here's the letter I. We're gonna go ahead and do it that way. All right. The second way, I'll show you in a second. So let's go ahead and start it. So now if you notice, it is gradually getting brighter, correct? And then once it reaches its maximum, it turns off and starts back at 0. Okay? So one thing, like I was telling you, you can initialize the letter I like that. Check this out. I'm going to go ahead and comment this out. That way the computer doesn't read it. And show you guys that even if I declare it down here right next to the letter I, so now I'm saying, hey, I'm declaring an integer with a number called I, index I. You won't get that syntax error. So you notice it gradually turns on and turns off, and then starts back to 0. Well, what if I wanted to gradually have it fade down? All right. So the way you would do that is, let's go ahead and stop the code here, and let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this one out. I'm going to go ahead and leave it declared down here. It just looks a lot cooler. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave that there. And now let's go ahead to make it gradually go down. I'm going to go ahead and work smarter, not harder. I'm going to go ahead and just copy this, Control copy. And I'm going to go ahead and nest another loop inside the void loop. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and nest another one, right? But once again, outside of the first for loop. I'm going to go ahead and start a second for loop. And in this case, now we're going to go things a little bit backwards, right? So instead of increasing by 1, I'm going to go ahead and decrease by 1. So by doing that, I also have to flip these over, because now remember, once it reaches its maximum, 255. So once it reaches its maximum at 255, go ahead and gradually bring this down all the way to 0. Okay? So go ahead and keep doing this gradually until you get to 0. Alright? And once again, make sure if you have an open loop, make sure it's closed. Right? Open, close. Alright, make sure you have your syntax errors clear. Go ahead and let's do this. Check this out. So it gradually goes on. Once it reaches the maximum, it gradually goes down. Then it goes up, and then down, and then up, and then down. There you go. So that's how you would fade it. Alright, so a couple of points, reminder, main points. Alright, 1, make sure you use analog are used to the pins that have the insignia. And then also the for loop. Alright, make sure those two things were the major points, the sticking points for this lesson.